Hello everyone. Welcome to the today's session. Am I audible also?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you so much for taking time out and being here today. So as we know, we come up here with the new webinar. I think that's our fourth webinar in the webinar series of Touristic Tuesday. So I think everyone has joined. So I'm just hand over this session to the Dipanshu, and he will be the anchor for the today's session. Dipanshu, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Technological advances have changed the way we travel, and these new developments promise an even more interactive and exciting experience. It is so prevalent that according to a Google's travel study, 74% of travelers plan their trip on internet, while only 13% still use travel agencies to prepare them. Good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Dipanshu Vaswani, on behalf of Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, welcome you all to Touristic Tuesday, a webinar series organized by Department of Management, PIMG. I would like to extend a very warm and gracious welcome to our notable speaker, Mr. Rohan Ballard, Dr. Navita Nathani, Deputy Director, Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, Dr. Rahul Pratap Singh Kaurav, Program Chairman, faculty members, distinguished guests, and all the students to this webinar. So as we are on the verge of commencement of a webinar, if you have any questions during the webinar, just write them up in chat box. We will have a Q&A session at the end to answer all your queries. Thank you. So before we start, let me give you a brief introduction about our institute. Prestige Institute of Management, UGC, NAC accredited, A grade, and an autonomous institute was set up in the year 1997 by Prestige Education Society, Indore, registered under the Societies Registration Act 1860. The society was set up by Prestige Group of Industries with an objective to meet the widely felt need of globally oriented management and information technology education and training for professionals. The institute has grown to be recognized as a premier institute for higher learning. It is a matter of great pride to be a part of this institute. Knowledge is a process of piling up facts. Wisdom lies in their simplification. With this, now I would like to please Deputy Director of Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, Dr. Navita Nathani, ma'am, for the welcome address. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dipanshu. A very good morning to all of you. Dr. Rahul Pratap Singh Kaurav, Program Chair, Bachelor of Tourism Management at Prestige, Professor Vivek, today's resource person, Mr. Rohan Ballard. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our alumni and resource person of today's webinar, Mr. Rohan Ballard. Being a teacher, it is the moment of happiness and joy that I invite my student on the board. So, Rohan, Prestige welcomes you.
Thank you, ma'am.
As
Thank you.
the topic, chosen for today's webinar is really apt, as we have seen a very unprecedented time due to coronavirus outbreak, and hence it has become essential to transform tourism. This has evolved as a popular research work nowadays that how outer journey can transform our inner consciousness, leading to awakening or enlightenment. When awakened, the individual not only experiences inner peace and freedom, but also a desire to contribute to the outer world. It suggests that tourism scenario involving deep, human connectivity and deep environmental connectivity, which is the urgent need of the hour. For the same, we have invited the resource person of today's webinar, who is an experienced learner, researcher, and teacher. I hope the student will inspire from him and will get benefited. And definitely, they would explore new opportunities in the world of tourism. So, thank you all. Over to you, Dipanshu.
Thank you so much, ma'am. There's no such thing as knowledge management. There are only knowledgeable people. Information only becomes knowledge in the hand of someone who knows what to do with it. So let me have the privilege to introduce our resource person for the day. Mr. Rohan Bhalla is an SRF pursuing his PhD from Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Faculty of Humanities and Languages, Jamia Millia Islamia, a central university. He is a gold medalist in PGDM, International Business, from the Indian Institute of Management and Travel Management. an organization of Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and has completed BBA Finance from Jivaji University, Gwalior. He has also completed an advanced research course in research from Mid-Sweden University, Sweden. He has academic experience of 3 years at all levels of imparting education, including his association with Indian Institute of Management, Indore. He has significantly published in international and national journals, books and edited books, and an encyclopedia of tourism management and marketing that includes publication in Scopus and ABDC index journals. His area of expertise is qualitative research and in multidisciplinary approaches, particularly in real-time social science projects. His interest lies in philosophy of research, spirituality, transformational tourism, regenerative tourism, rural tourism, and gender studies. He also takes an interest in behavioral science, emotional and spiritual intelligence, psychology, communication, and personality development programs. He believes in the transformational power of education and the role of teacher as a moral propagator of society to make the world a better place to live. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Rohan Ballard to share his precious knowledge with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Uh, I do not know where to start from, but I'll take a minute to at least pay my sincere gratitude to whosoever I've become, though a tiny drop of water in an ocean, to my teacher, to my guru, Professor Navita Nathani ma'am, because she is the one who raised me in the higher education and still is a guiding angel for me. Also to Professor Rahul Pratap Singh Kaurav, we have a relationship of both types, professional, personal. He is more like an elder who is always available, just a call away whenever I need him in terms of my research, in terms of personal guidance. So yes, I would rather say that it's an opportunity and a privilege to be a part of this institution again and to connect to all the students and people from academia and various industries, whosoever have joined today. So thank you for this opportunity. Let me begin with the presentation. Should we start, sir?
Yes, sir, please.
Yes, please.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
So yes, today's topic is interesting. It is also related to my PhD work. I'll be having a flow of both formal and informal sessions. As already mentioned, the Q&A would be at the last of the session. So I would request each and everyone, whatsoever comes into your mind, please type it in the chat box. Obviously, I guess the anchor will pick it up from there and we'll have a question and answer at the last. So designing transformative tourism experiences. This topic is very, very close to me. At the same time, I believe the need of art that we all must discuss. Let us begin with what it is all about. So the whole presentation is divided in a form of a movie. We have two parts, before interval and after interval. So let us have a look at what is going on, why we are discussing transformation, what is transformation before and from the moment interval, after interval would be the climb of the movie, what we can do as students of management and tourism studies, what can be done in terms of solving the issues and challenges which we all are exposed to. So yes, Dalai Lama. I am very, very sure that there is no person in this group, in this community who is unaware about Lama's work on spirituality and transformation. It may sound very, very philosophical, but I'll make it a little easier for understand. The transformative philosophy, it is more of a science and art which is based on logic. So he categorically mentioned about it that material progress and higher standard of living brings us great comfort and health, but do not lead to transformation of the mind, which is the only thing capable of providing lasting peace. Uh, I do not know how many of you have joined Prestige in graduation, in post graduation, and other courses, but the very motto of every student is to have the luxuries, the comfort, all the necessities and essential in your homes prominently. You want to wear brands, you want to wear uh, good clothes, good accessories, you want to have a luxury car. Obviously, you want to expand from 2 BHK to 3 BHK to a duplex and then to bungalows. Who does not dream about? We all should and we all must. But there is something strange going on in the societies right now. And I'm not talking about the Indian society. I'm also talking about the strange phenomena that is also happening and occurring worldwide. We all are somewhere focused on accumulation of power, accumulation of resources. And the very idea is because we believe that we are born in this world to, to serve ourselves, to serve our family, and then if we have some time left to serve the society, and then to die. So this is something which we all are doing. Let's do BCom and BTTM and BBA and then MBAs and engineering and so many other. Lacks in us today, if you are having your elder brothers or sisters or your parents as well. I'm talking about the younger generation particularly. Will see one thing very, very strange again, that all of them are stressed. And if not all, at least a majority of them are stressed, or they complain about a lot of workload when they come back to home from offices. They also talk about issues at workplace. They also talk about issues in personal life. They share it with their friends in offices. So what is missing in us is some sort of happiness. It's the power of keeping yourself calm and composed. So that is missing. So as Lama said, instead of having all the material possession you have, you lack transformation, and transformation is needed because that is the sole thing which will, satisfy you, which will give you peace, the eternal peace in mind. I added few statements before it. Say, what is transformation? From where it begins? Transformation is not something which we believe that I just want to transform myself. There are so many boys or girls, young girls and boys who are going to gyms or hitting the gym floors. We all are seeing a lot of Instagram reels and Facebooks and social media that I physically transformed in 3 months. I lost 12 kgs. I lost 4 inches. So there is a physical transformation which you are doing in your gyms, or you're working out and so many other things. Similarly, there are emotional transformations, and then there are mental transformation and spiritual transformation. So when we are talking about transformation, we are talking about upward movement or enhancement or promotion of our well-being. But when do we start transformation? I'm just taking a very stupid joke over here. The moment your heart breaks, if relationship, suddenly something comes into your mind that now I have decided to become handsome or beautiful that nobody can reject me. So to understand it better, these are the lines which I've added. I add to the views of Lama that shoots of transformations for peace rise from the seeds of disturbance and crisis. So until unless something is not unsettling you, something is not disturbing you, something is not having some sort of crisis, we call it existential crisis, that you do not know. You are so confused about yourself, what you want to do in your life, if you are doing something right or wrong. So all these things leads to transformation. These are the phenomena which uh, transformation in you. So transformation comes from disturbance. If I have to make it very, very simple, until unless you are not disturbed, you have not lost your peace of mind, the very feeling, the urge for transformation may lack. However, there are people in terms of higher degree people, in terms of saints, that have the capacity to be at peace and calm no matter what happens in the world. But for today's generation, this is what is instigating transformation: a heartbreak or heartache or something that is forcing you, to not be yourself. Maybe work pressure, maybe your aspirations and dreams. So these are my words, which I believe is the need of time that instigates transformation, and we all must focus on. हम बहुत देर से ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की बात करें. We all are discussing about transformation, but what is transformation in very say? So this is a way people interpret life change, learning experiences, makes meaning out of it, and change beliefs, attitude, and entire worldview. Uh, on the basis of your very experiences of life, you always try to make some meaning out of it. If you feel that there is something happening in your life, an incident happened, you believe that this is not the way I should live my life. For example, the moment you fail in your examinations, maybe in your engineering program, the second things which comes to your mind that leave it, in any case I'm not going to get a job, let us be comfortable with UPSC. For tourism student, a particular phenomena may come into their mind considering the COVID scenario, that what is the need of getting an education in BTTM or doing MTTM, how both the courses are different, what will I get out of it. In any case, I'm going to get placed on 20,000, 25,000 a month, or that too in a Delhi or other metropolitan city. So these are the experiences which you're gaining right now, that brings a change, that shifts your change, beliefs, attitude, and the way you see the world around. So need of change is personally emancipating. People are freed from previously held beliefs, values, and feelings that have constrained and distorted one's life. So what disturbed your peace of mind is something your past experience. And on the basis of your past experience, you take decisions to change your present so that you can have a better future. This is how it works. Transformation is learning, changing, and growing for people seeking to make meaningful, life transforming changes. So, what we just listened to, what I talked about, is transformation in its philosophical way. Why are we discussing transformation right now? What is the need? Let me play this video for you so that you can have a stimulus in your mind. Let me break your peace of mind. Please be very, very attentive to this video.
In 160 seconds, you will decide how the story ends. This is a story about us, the indoor generation. A generation that spends 90% of its life indoors. It all started the day we left nature behind. We filled our homes with lovely things and all the stuff we wanted. Our homes became places we would never want to leave. Artificial light replaced daylight. And we built our houses so that nothing could escape. We cooked and showered, breathed and played, slept and sweated. We had closed ourselves in to a point where nothing could get out. So when the air turned bad inside, we tried fixing it with chemicals. And we put in little artificial suns everywhere to make the darkness bearable. That's when things started to happen. Hard to notice in the beginning. Some needed help to sleep, to breathe, to not itch. Many of us even started to feel sad. So we turned on happy lamps to make the sadness go away. Then, scientists discovered that the air inside our homes is up to 5 times more polluted than the air outside, and that the lack of daylight can affect children's learning and increase blood pressure. It turns out that kids' rooms often have the highest concentration of toxicants in the house. In fact, millions of homes are unhealthy to live in. They discovered that living in damp and moldy homes increases the risk of asthma by 40%. And I learned that millions of people like me suffer from asthma and allergies caused by a bad indoor environment. And so, here we are. How the story ends is up to you, because it's not written yet. If you care about the indoor generation, do something. Begin to think and live differently. Let light and fresh air into your life. Even small changes can make a huge difference for coming generations. Learn how at theindoorgeneration.com.
I hope you liked the video or something has disturbed inside you. That was the agenda of the video.
There is a technical voice problem, maybe because of network issues or some other ways, right? So,
So, was it like rightly played? Should I play it again? What do you say, sir?
the video was rightly played, but we are sometimes your voice is glitching in that network. So,
Okay. So, do you want me to play right now? Like replay?
no, not to play again.
All right. All right. So the video talked about the very disturbing phenomena that talks about indoor generations. We all have technological advancements in our life. Like we have made our life easy and very comfortable. Just a remote in your hand or maybe a clap of your hand can change the environment of your home. So everything is there inside your home. We made our homes cages, and that is where the problems begin. Cause for concern. Let us bring back, let us have a recap of what the video talked about. The disturbance in your physical, mental, spiritual well-being. I'm just sharing some very disturbing facts that I have collected in terms of India and even worldwide. So people in India do not even know about mental health issues. Like this is 57%, which is a big number. The report which you are seeing is a Times of India publication of 2017-16, which stated that 28% of global suicides occur in India. The issue of mental health today is changed. India's growing suicide burden, India is ranked number 1 in suicide now, and this is very disturbing. If you compare it from the global parameters and the figures, the average suicide death rate in women and men of India is more than women and men globally. And now we shares 17.8% of the total suicide that take place in the world, out of which 36.6% are females and 24.3% are males. And this is horrifying. So when I'm talking about suicide, I'm talking about what has happened in our lives. We have all the material possessions, we have all the comforts, we have all the luxuries, we are making good money, we have bungalows, homes, everything. But why we are not happy? What? Because the results are showing something different. The happiest countries in the world are the Scandinavian countries. We are slipping down in the happiness index. Finland tops it, Sweden is there, Denmark is there. In fact, we are far behind from Pakistan and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. Presently, we are 139, 140, 144 in 3 years. What is not good in our lives? What is that is worrying us? So people, like if you can just see the cartoon, because it is a hit on coronavirus pandemic, a lot of people discourage the World Happiness Index because they say, no, Indians are not that unhappy people. So somebody made a cartoon like, because we wear masks, so these surveyors didn't see our smiles. And this is how the analogy, this is how the irrationality has been presented. But the figures of mental health and, you know, the suicidal ideation, depression, anxiety, stress, these are very, very common in our own life. And the numbers which you are seeing, which you have just seen, are only coming from the reported cases, like what is going in terms of record in National Crime Bureau in terms of suicide. And other figures are coming from psychologists and psychiatrists and all the mental health care experts. But, you know, what about the unreported cases? I'm very sure a lot of you might also be having some sort of anxiety, particularly in this period of time, because we all are locked in our homes. We are staying at home, working from homes. I can relate to the pain of students who are making a lot of assignments each and every single day, which sometimes comes heavy on you. Same goes to your parents. May possible that they are more resilient than you, but something is always disturbing each and every one of us. So what is the challenge before us? Now we know the problem. What is the challenge? The challenge is this. Look at it. So this is the mental health infrastructure in India. We have only 0.30 psychiatrists per 1 lakh people, 2.15 inpatient beds per 1 lakh people, and government of India is spending 881 crore on mental health, which is only 0.2% of public health expenditure. And if I talk about the health budget out of the GDP, it is only 1.6%. Now look at it. You just observe the phenomena. You were very, very stuck to your TVs. I'm very sure about the news you were listening to, the dreadful, wrenching, heartbreaking news that were coming to us through our television, that the India's hospital system and everything was collapsed. People are running crazy for oxygen cylinders and bed, and people were not getting treatment. So it is not the situation which prevailed in just 1 year. This was the situation which has been ignored for years. The coronavirus pandemic only uncovered it. So we never invested good in our health system. And this is the core health system. Please keep the mental health behind, because nobody even talk about in India. So the President of India, President Kovind, also talked about the health endemic. If we talk about, if you're keeping the population of India constant, how many psychiatrists we need? We need 30,000 more psychiatrists, which will take another 42 years. 37,000 psychiatric nurses, which will take 74 years. 38,000 clinical psychologists, which will take 76 years, and 38,000 psychiatric social workers, which would again take 76 years. And now look at it. We are facing this problem. We are facing this challenge today, and the solution can come to us after 76 years and 42 years and 74 years, when I'm keeping the population constant. This is something dreadful. This is something to worry about. You might be finding the lecture very, very disturbing in terms of why are we doing it? What it has, why is that any relevance with the tourism? You'll come to know about it later. But this is the social issue which we all are aware about. The emergence of coronavirus pandemic had devastating effects on mental health of people and well-being. We know that every second or third home around our surroundings, and in our surroundings and in our neighborhood, lost somebody. We lost employment. We observed salary cuts, and the news which comes to us. A lot of people even switched off the television. They do not want to have any negativity around them. But everything that has happened in 1 year, 1.5 years, has exaggerated it. And that is why each and every scientist and researcher from different disciplines, coming from different domains, are talking about health and wellness issues prevailing in our country. I do not know how justified it is from every people coming from each and every single domain talking about mental health and well-being. But yes, this is the need of time that we all should think about. Over here, I end my first part of the presentation, which talked about what is transformation and why are we discussing it. So picture abhi baki hai. Let's go to the happy side, what we can do and what the students of tourism particularly can do. And that is what designing tourism experiences for transformation is. Please understand two things. Keeping that video in your mind, that we have only lived inside the built environments, inside the concrete jungles and big cities for less than 1% of our time. I'm talking about the existence of human in history. 99% of our human existence, we spend our times in jungles as nomads and wanderers. It is only 1% that we came out in cities. Look at it. I'm talking about the concept of Anthropocentrism, which is that humans believe that they have the power to rule, to govern, they have an authority to make regulations for everything, even for the nature, so that they can prove that they are above nature. However, even Charles Darwin doubted this intention. He said, no, the humans do not have any supremacy over nature. They are just a part of nature and they do not know the talents about the other wildlife, flora, fauna, what they are capable of. But look at it, the divide we have created. We came out of jungles and we shifted to cities and buildings and with a lot of comforts and amenities around us. But this is exactly what has disturbed our life. Why? Because what matters to us is mental health, physical health, emotional well being, meaning and purpose in our life, and evaluating well being. When I'm talking about meaning and purpose in our life, this is something which we all, keep on discussing to ourselves, within ourselves, with the people around, that what is the purpose of my life, what I'm doing, if I'm doing something, is it right or wrong, or if it is going to reap some benefits or not. So meaning and purpose, identification, meaning making is a continuous process in your life. You always ask some questions to yourself when you are not having good answers to you, when you are not satisfied with the life you have. So I believe this is very common in students, particularly if you have made a right decision to pursue a course or not, if you are going to land into a good job or not. You may have your loans, you may have your education uh, mortgage, you might have mortgaged your things, properties for education, and so many other things. But look at it. One single phenomena is disturbing your multidimensional well-being. You become lazy, you become insomniac, you become tech savvy. A lot of usage in terms of technology, mobile screens. So this is what is disturbing us. Uh, yeah. So what is the need? The time is to reconnect. Krishna Tha is the concept which talks about nature is our mother. Because we live cut off from her, we become sick. So now the world is realizing the power of nature. They are accepting that they are not supreme to the nature, but they're part of nature, that human comes from nature. And we separated in couple of centuries, like 300, 400, 500, or maybe 1000 years. The moment we came out of jungles, now we are realizing that we actually belong to that place. And I'm not talking about, going to Himalayas and become Babaji and live our life over there. I'm talking about the disconnect which we have created from the nature for a very long period of time. I do not know if I may ask right now, or you can write it in your chat box. The moment these lockdowns are going to get over, the first thing which might come into your mind is traveling. I guess, as per my research, I believe this is going to be the first thing, or maybe a lot of students, let the situations be better and I'm going to travel. I do not know what type of traveling is going in your mind, but my research is suggesting that a lot of people are talking about two phenomena. One, they are done with the technology and online things. They want to go back to their colleges so that they can have faces of their teachers, they can shake hands with their friends, they can hug them. At the same time, they want to go back to parties for socializing, in pubs and discourse, because that is what human life is. We cannot be separate from each other. And the technology, the help of technology which we are getting in a difficult time is not the permanent solution. So in terms of nature as well, the second is we all are seeking some sort of healing, and nature has all the phenomena, all the elements that helps us healing. If I may ask, or if anybody of you can answer it, what is the first place where you want to visit? With what type of destinations which you want to visit? Anybody of you who wish to answer?
So it would be a type of natural destination, not a man-made. That's what I will prefer.
Okay. So I'm talking about like which type of destination in terms of states or cities. You want to go to mountains or something like that?
Yeah, mountains and in particular Northeast.
Northeast. All right. Anybody else who wish to talk about it?
People have started typing into the chat box. They are looking
right.
for adventure, beaches, culture,
Exactly.
and somebody has typed about Turkey, right? And there are different, varied kind of opinion in that way. Beaches. Somebody is talking about sun and beaches, sunset and beaches. At least Rishikesh,
Overall, yes, right, sir. Overall, they are looking for the adventurous places.
right?
All right.
Right.
So the people are looking for, if we can, what we have heard just now from Rahul sir and Vivek sir is people are looking for some outdoor pursuits. They are tired of being in their homes. They feel caged and they want to involve in some sort of adventure. They want to go to the natural elements of mountains and beaches and sands and sun, and they are thinking of something meaningful in their life, or maybe why they are doing it is also unknown to them. I can say this because it's the matter of consciousness. How many of us really became consciously aware about it? So there are two types of consciousness. I have divided it into 2 degrees. One is lower level of consciousness, and another one is higher level of consciousness. So the lower level of consciousness is something which has settled in you, that हमारे साथ जो हो रहा है is all right, we can take it. We have made our mind that if something is going on in our life, it's okay, we can take it. We have made ourselves so resilient. The higher level of consciousness talks about the movement from the lower to higher, which involves transformation. The process from lower level of consciousness to the higher level of consciousness, the rasta, the way, is through transformation. And where can we transform? To the places which are wilderness areas. We talk in terms of tourism. We talk about nature because when we see mountains, when we see the calm, the tranquility, the peace, the solace which we get out of environment is something that intrudes some question in our mind that actually washes our pain. How it happens? Let us have a look at it. All right. Designing transformative tourism experiences. The role of students in tourism and even in management studies. When I'm saying the power of innovation, when I'm talking about out of the box thinking, अभी तक शायद सबको ये लग रहा होगा कि the issues which we have discussed are something which are medical science, philosophy. A lot of us are aware about it. There's nothing new about it. People are talking about mental health, Sushant case and all those things. Everybody started talking about mental health, and when somebody dies, we all puts our statuses on WhatsApp statuses. You can talk to me freely anytime, whenever you need me. But rest of the time we sleep. So what does a tourism and management professional do? What can be their roles? You are not doctors. You are not qualified doctors. But we talk about complementary alternative medicine. When I'm saying this term, I mean that you are the ones who can come up with out of the box thinking, something that you are aware about right now. If you'll study in your courses, that nature-based tourism is a phenomena that helps healing. And right now, if you'll see to it, a lot of people are looking for, obviously, travel and tourism. And you know that most of them are suffering from mental health issues, mental health anomalies, and which we all talked about, stress, depression, anxiety, and even suicidal ideations. So you have a big market. I'm talking about in terms of business. business value. You have a big market of patients, and they do not have doctors. Here comes your opportunity. With all the respect to the humanity, I'm saying, here comes the opportunity for tourism professionals. A lot of us are worried about uh, how can we, what will be our future in this COVID time. I am very certain in terms of the very, very bright future of tourism professional in coming years, because travel is not going to stop. Travel has never been something which has stopped. Even in the Spanish flu, 1916 to 1924 waves of the pandemic came, and travel didn't stop. It was stopped for 4 years. It resumed again. So we have surpassed World War One, World War Two, and so many big calamities and disasters. So a lot of people, even students today, are thinking of tourism is not a course for us because it does not, it does not, it will not give us anything in our future. Our future will not be secure. So just a little bit out of thinking, considering your market of health and wellness patients, let us have a word on what is transformational tourism. In the first part, we talked about transformation. Now we are talking about transformational tourism. So Susan Rose, in 2008, she's also a researcher, talked about transformational is personal, is dynamic in social, cultural, and uniquely individual process that begins with disorienting dilemma, and it involves choice, healing, and experiences of expanding consciousness towards the divine. So she said that it is, eliminating the confusions and chaos in you, the doubts in you, and that involves choice of healing and looking for the experiences that helps you enhance or promote your consciousness. Now, if I talk about what is consciousness, in Hindi, we talk about chitta, which is your balance of your life, your locus of control. Like your center should be at the very center of your body, the alignment of body, mind, and soul. So these three elements in your body comes into align, you feel happy. So she talked about this. Second, she talked about initiates a permanent change in identity structures through cognitive, psychological, affective, and spiritual experiences. So you can travel and you can feel permanent changes in you, she said. However, I doubt on the words red, which I've marked red in color. Transformational travel may not necessarily lead to a permanent change. Sometimes it may, depends on person to person again, but it will surely have some sort of timely shift. Like you can change for 2-3 months and then again you get tired in your office and then again you run to the mountain. I do not know if you are connected to your brothers and sisters and your friends working in Delhi and Mumbai and other big cities. Ask them on weekends and long weekends. We are having a concept of weekend holidays. Tourism people can relate to it. Weekend getaways. They are moving, they are traveling, they're driving to Uttarakhand, they're traveling to Himachal. Mumbai people are going to Matharan and Goa and the Konkan belt. And they come back on Monday morning or, whatever the time permits them. Why are they going towards the nature? Because they want to calm their souls. The pressure they accumulate in 4-5 days of working, just want to blow off the stream. They just want to release their pressures. And that is how they are having some sort of, if not permanent change, but a temporary change. Third point is renders a sustained shift in the form of one's thinking, doing, believing, or sensing due to novelty of intersection between the experiencer and experience's location and time. Please listen to it very, very carefully. Once you travel to nature, you have your own time, your own personal time where you do not feel disturbed by people around, at least half an hour, where you think about yourself. You can discuss to yourself. You have a lot of introspection. You may change your plans. You may change your work life schedule. You may change your personal life schedule. And then suddenly you start realizing what wrongs you have done in your past, how it can be corrected. Maybe you need some sort of medical help as well in case of serious anomalies, but in terms of mild and moderate, you may have it on your own. So these are the experiences which is, which takes place at different locations. I'm talking about travel destinations and the experiencer, the traveler, the tourist. So this is how Susan defined transformational travel in 3 steps. So this is what I have made for you to easily understand transformational tourism. This was also one of my entries in Encyclopedia of Tourism and Marketing Management. So what we are doing in terms of transformation tourism, if you can see that we escape from cities, we move to nature, we dwell in nature, and once we do this activity, what are the outcomes that we get? Our consciousness enhanced. We have some sort of healing experiences because we have a lot of scars in cities, scars in terms of disturbed life, scars in terms of work life pressure, stress. So all these things, once we move to Himachal, just imagine in your mind, if you're traveling to Shimla or some green places, how do you feel? The moment I'm saying these words, it is some sort, I believe it is creating images in your mind. If I'm saying ocean, if I'm saying Andaman and Nicobar Islands, if I'm saying Mauritius, you are having visualizations in your mind, I'm very sure about it. And the moment you are visualizing about it, your stress level automatically is coming down. I guess if we can have an experimentative study, we can easily measure it out. But this is what the power of healing is, healing from nature is. So it promotes health, well-being, positive behavioral change. A lot of angry, short-tempered people that you write in your CV that my weakness is I'm a short-tempered person and I'm an emotional person. I would recommend you to go to nature at least once in 3 months, and you may feel a lot of changes in you. And I'm talking of behavioral changes. It provides relief from stress and it recreates your identity. This is an important term. I'll take a minute to discuss this recreating identity. Living a life in city is not easy for all of us. For cities like Gwalior, Bhopal, Indore in Madhya Pradesh, or Jaipur in Rajasthan, or the two-tier cities, it's comparatively easier. We have an easier life in terms of cosmopolitan cities, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi. So why we are saying it? It's simple. We believe that we are somebody. We goes to these big cities with some sort of aspirations and dreams, but within 3-4 years, we feel like we are getting lost in those cities. The culture, the nightlife, we say like we are not ourselves anymore. I do not know how many of you might have spent 4 years, 5 years in Delhi, and once you come back to Gwalior, or the moment you travel back to meet your friends or whatever, the first line they'll say to you, "Arey, tu to change ho gaya." या फिर your mom and your dad may have a very sarcastic or commenting line like, "अच्छा दिल्ली की हवा लग गई है." So what does it mean? It simply means that there are changes in your permanent identity, what you actually are. So once you realize that these changes, these identity changes, the the, the things which you have accumulated are disturbing phenomena. So you need to recreate your identity. You need to get yourself back, your original self. And getting your original self back is possible in nature. So this is the very diagram of transformational tourism. Very important part now in terms of professional value. How to design experiences? What are experiences? So for a professional, it is important to serve your customer. How are you going to serve your customer post COVID-19? Have you ever thought about it? Just because of today's presentation, you may have some ideas that there are big number of people who are suffering from mental health issues. And I'm very sure that these people are, even if they are not realizing themselves, even if they are not going to doctors or medical practitioners or mental health experts, they know that they have some sort of issues. Just a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had some guests. So the point is, how do you design this which may benefit your customers? Let us have a look at what experiences are. We all know that tourism is an experience-based industry, and experiences are constructed in the context. So if we understand what experiences is, these are intangible phenomenon that gives you some sort of satisfaction and which are related to feelings and emotions. So every experience has a have a context. Context is like if you go to a natural destination, if you go to a disco, if you go to any other type of destination, cultural, traditional, museum. So they have a context, and accordingly you have a feel, and then you have a feel. Then you feel like you have a perspective towards life. You go to museum, you see heritage, you see historical sites. You feel like the greatness of our old societies, the traditional societies. When we go to natural areas, we come to know about the power of nature. Just have a look at the tailor bird swing, have making its own nest. The very intricacies, how beautifully it makes its own nest. So these are the experiences which you create, which you can grab, which you can conquer in terms of context of a place you visit. So it is important right now to understand and offer what is demanded. So you need to study the market right now as a tourism professional. What is happening in your society? What is happening in people around you? Just observe it. I gave you an idea today that a lot of people are having a miserable life. They are having or living an unhappy life. We have just observed the facts and figures. Obviously, they are heart wrenching, and these are big numbers. Like it's too big a number. But are we really making products, services, experiences? Are we creating such experiences which can, produce some sort of effects which are positive for transformation? No, we do not have such commodities, products, services, and experiences. Because as a tourism professional, what we think tourism is all about ticketing, tourism is all about itineraries, tourism is all about travel agency management, or making your plans, or doing a role of a guide. That's it. And this is where we narrows the very, very fundamental phenomena of tourism, which is like the huge industry, because we do not think out of the box. And I'm asking you all today to think out of the box, to innovate something. But for innovation, you need to have problem. You need to understand your market and look at the market which I've presented to you. This is from the book Experience Economy, Pine and Gilmore. I recommend each and every one of you to read this book. It's very good book, very, very useful for your understanding. So we know about product production, then marketing concept we read in marketing, and the suppliers offering we talk about. First came commodities, then came goods, and then services, and then we created experiences. So Chokidani is a staged experience in Rajasthan, Jaipur, and some sort of other experiences. Sula Vineyard, we create experiences. So these are from the supplier side, from the tourism supplier side, that what we offer to our customer are experiences, the services based on certain products or goods. But today, the customer, what they're seeking transformation. They want something beyond experience. They want something, that can change their mind, can change their attitude, can actually change or swiftly change their mood, their temperament, their emotions. How it can be done? So I've listed few transformative travel activities. So dwelling at sacred sites I mean pilgrimage sites, sites of faith, temples, mosque, or anything. You go to Makkah and you feel blessed, because that is a sacred place for your faith. You go to Ayodhya Ram temple, you have sacred space, you feel like you're blessed. A lot of students, young students, prefer to go to Vaishno Devi. I do not know if they are actually going with a traditional or faith side, but maybe just traveling. So talking, listening from indigenous teachers, people, community. This is also some sort of transformative activity where you go to tribal areas and listen to their stories, or maybe people in your society. Group sharing sessions. Prominent activity which is coming up in corporate sectors, they are having happy hours, or they are having weekly meetings, informal meeting where they grab a drink in their hand on Friday, second half, and then they chat with each other, learning esoteric and common history, engaging in activities like yoga, expression art. We also call it land art, group activities, natural hike, trekking. A lot of young people are going for trekking in Himachal and Uttarakhand sites. Connecting to nature, body, mind, heart concept, which we talked about. Spending money with sustainable ethics. So these are some sort of transformative travel activities that people prefer to engage in. We are talking about designing the experiences. So now look at it. This is the scenario of transformation travel. And 3 points which you have to keep in mind while you are making travel plans for your customer. And when I'm saying customer, I'm talking about the people which we have referred to in this presentation. So you have 4 categories: deep human connectivity, engaged contribution, self-inquiry, and deep environmental connectivity. And this is a system which is showing overlapping of all these things. So on the basis of A, B, C, D, E, you are seeing the alphabets in it. You may combine 2, you may combine 3, you may combine 4, all 4 of them, and then you can prepare or plan your itineraries. So the first point is design for intimate personal process for transformation and spiritual awakening. This is going to be the product highly in demand the moment your travel restrictions gets lifted, the moment lockdown gets over. For tourism professionals, for tourism students, this is important to understand that people are looking for some sort of intimate experiences where they can feel spiritual awakening, they can feel light inside, they can have an opportunity to connect to themselves. Just imagine about people who have lost their personal, who lost their loved ones. Think about the people who lost their employment in 2 years, maybe the couple itself, husband and wife, and they have a younger baby. But do not think about how are we going to sell the product. Obviously, things will get better, nothing will stop. I'm sure about it. But the offering should be made in accordance to what is required by the customer. So this is going to be the first thing you have to keep in mind. What is going to be your role is the second point. Employees require investment in value-based, culturally sensitive learning and understanding of transformation of consciousness. As a student, it is going to benefit you in your personal life and in your professional life as well. You need to understand the very idea of transforming the consciousness. And when I'm saying transforming consciousness, I'm talking about enhancing it. Every person is conscious when he or she is born, but it is the layers we accumulate that disturbs our very, very nature, which is compassionate, which is happy. A child, when it's born, is not an unhappy person. But the moment you grow in your life, the moment you age in your life, the moment you gather experiences, sometimes good, sometimes bad, you have your emotions, you have your feeling accordingly. So you have to be aware about the consciousness first, and accordingly, you can understand the pain and despair and miseries of others. And then you can have your plans. For example, if I have to think about a student, a child who is an orphan now, who might have lost his parents and is a part of an orphanage group. And even these groups have their trips and everything. I'm just assuming, I'm just imagining how you are going to make an itinerary for them, how you are going to convince them that, ma'am, sir, we can take these students, these groups, we have funding, yeah, they have their own funding or sponsor, to places which can help them release their pressure. So think about it. But for that, you need to understand the very idea of consciousness first, and then only you will be able to understand what is the need of your customer. Staging of transformative encounters in a physical environment which fosters storytelling and symbolism. So it's not limited to planning a trip or a tour for somebody, but actually creating the environment in which the moment a person enters, feels blessed, feels transformed, feels spiritual, feels healing. When I'm saying these things, this may kind of you might be finding it a little bored, now look at the beautiful examples with which we'll be ending our session. This is the activity which is coming up very strong in almost every country of the world. Though it's a Japanese technique, which is Shinrin Yoku, this is forest bathing. So even in India, we are going to have our first center in Ranikhet, Uttarakhand, the center of Shinrin Yoku. So this is a practice where people in groups goes to forests and jungles and green areas. And this is a technique, a Japanese technique where we say we are doing forest bathing. So this phenomena is coming up very, very significantly, very strongly in our lives. Think about it if you can offer to your customers. This is a workshop which is taking place in the labs of Himalayas by an organization called the Himalayan Writing Retreat. This is being run by a couple over there, and they offer the scenic landscapes and conduct workshops where you can, uh, enhance your writing skills. At the same time, the female owner is they're co-preneurs, both husband and wife. So they are engaged in providing detox, technical detox things as well. You will be asked to switch off your phones for a week, or maybe allowed just to give a call once a day to your family that you are well. So these type of things are coming up. They arrange workshops like digital detox, and this is for emotional well-being. And there is another concept of ecotherapy where a psychologist helps you healing from your difficult past in the lap of nature. Just a statement by a person who attended this workshop. So it's a narrative. It helped me to find my calm amongst the chaos. The person who attended the emotional well-being workshop. So think like that. If you can connect people to these sort of things, or if you can arrange some sort of workshops on your own with the help of some practitioners, this can be a big market to you. Think like that. Yes, this is again very, very important. Sula Fest. We all know Sula is a vineyard in Nasik. There's a scientist named Mariana Sigla. She talked about transformation through wine experiences. So she says once a person consumes wine, or once he moves in the vineyard, it creates some sort of temporary state of trance where the questions of profoundness, the abstract questions of spirituality comes into your mind. But how are you going to create the experience? So they have staged Sula Fest for it. A lot of people from around the world comes into this place, and what do? They merchandise their product. They have a happy life. They have events. Obviously there is a consumption of wine, but look at it, look at the happy faces, because these are the people who are coming from the world, and these are the people who are the workforce, but just to have an experience of transformation, they are here. Think like that. If you can create some events like that, or if you can serve your customers as with these events. All right, this is LGBTQ tourism, pink tourism we call it. This Gay Ski Week takes place in Queenstown, New Zealand, where this community, the people of this community, goes once every year just to come out of the bullying, come out of the hardship that they have faced in their lives, and just to be in that brotherhood, just to be a part of the community where they can be themselves without a preconceived notion that people will be judging them. So this is another concept which is coming up. If you think about it, if you can arrange some adventure pursuits, a lot of people in the chat box talked about adventure pursuit that they want to do. Bungee jumping, scuba diving, you have whitewater river rafting in Uttarakhand. People are already consuming it, but time is to reshape it, redesign it from the context of health, well-being, and transformation. I guess we have been to the interval. I will not say the end. I will say the beginning for you begins from here. You have your future ahead. We discussed about, we'll have a quick recap about what we discussed. We discussed about what is transformation, why we need it, and then the later half, the picture abhi baki, after the intermission, the interval, we talked about what is transformational tourism and how to create such experiences, how to design experiences for your customers that are going to be valued. I'm very certain about it. And I'm talking on the basis of research. People will be looking for travel the moment things gets normal. I pray that coronavirus thing say tata bye bye to this world very soon. And this is going to be your moment. This is going to be the moment of travel and tourism professionals. I can say that there will be shortage of human resources in this industry. I do not know when it is going to happen, but this will happen. I'm very certain about. And we will require more human resources to cater to the needs of these many peoples because, and this is not an Indian phenomenon. The mental health issues and um, the well-being issues are prevailing worldwide. So this is going to be a next big thing. Just remember that. So this is a beginning for you. Am I happy? No, not until you ask questions. So I give my turn to you. I surrender, and I will be more than happy to have your questions now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, to share your distinctive vision on transformational tourism, and I'm pretty sure it will help us in upcoming time. So, moving ahead to the query session, now I would like to call upon Abhishek Shivhare for a Q&A session. Abhishek, over to you. Abhishek, am I audible to you?
Yes, just hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, sir, for this amazing session. It will definitely help a lot of us. We are getting n number of questions in the chat box, so we will try to cover maximum possible queries. So with your permission, can we start the Q&A session, sir?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So the first question is, how can we unlock the the transformative potential of the tourism?
Okay. So it is not us who are going to unlock the transformative potential of tourism. It is the need. The need is for people to understand that they have all the potential to unlock the transformational process in them. We as tourism teachers, trainers, students are going to make them realize, are going to help. We talk about frontliners like doctors and policemen and so many nurses who are engaged in serving the people right now. But we as a tourism professional can provide complementary alternative medicine, non-pharmaceutical intervention that will help people to enhance their mental health and well-being. So it's just the moment we recognize that a person is coming to us to buy a package, कि भैया मुझे गोवा भेज देना, and you just make a 4 days itinerary and 4 nights, 5 days, it's not going to work like that. You need to make them understand. You need to first realize that what is that thing they are going. क्यों जा रहे हो, कैसे जा रहे हो? Ask them. Increase your knowledge and accordingly design something, offer something extraordinary. The examples which you have just seen right now, which is taking place in the world. So this is what you also have. If you go to Mumbai at 4 hours distance, you have Nasik, you can go to Sula Vineyard and you can have your stay. There are a lot of properties coming up in terms of villas. You can book your 2 nights over there. You can have vineyard session. Then there are breweries. So this is also going to be a new thing coming up. So we just need to let them be aware about the very health oriented, wellness oriented things that we can create. And please do not confine transformation to yoga, Ayurveda, and naturopathy. This is beyond. Transformation is beyond, and that can come from various fields. So think like that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. The second question is, what is your recommendation on the digital aspect of transformation in tourism?
Digital aspect of transformation in tourism. So this question is not very clear to me. I do not know what the person is going to ask, but I guess the person might be asking about coming out of the hands of digitalization and too much of usage of technology and screen times and mobile phone. Obviously the answer is outdoor pursuit. We just saw a video of indoor generation. The more you live inside your home, you will be surrounded by your gadgets. From teachers to students to corporate people, what all of us are doing is working from home, sitting on in our front of our screens. Obviously we need money, we need to survive, we need to fulfill the desires of a family, that is fine. But at least take a time out once a month, twice a month, or maybe at least one time in a quarter to move out of your places, to at least spend some good time, good healthy time, 4 days, 5 days. And this has to be aggressively promoted at very, very reasonable prices to the customers. And that is how even the transformation can also take place in the industry itself. And that is what I'm saying. So transforming your customer is one, and transforming the tourism industry is two. And this is how it is going to work. You need to be aware about creating the experience that leads to transformation. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you so much, sir. The next question is, can we develop any kind of tourism business in emotional transformation? Like you
Yes,
discussed about the spirituality, or yeah.
yes. This is a very, very good question, very relevant question. And I have a recent example of one of my students from Jamia Millia Islamia. He just passed his graduation and he opened up his agency, which is working in Himalaya. So what he did, he hired two yoga instructors, two psychologists, and a team of guide, the local guide, as well as somebody who will accompany them during their travel from Delhi to Himachal. And what they are doing now, they are also getting corporate tours. Recently, Axis Bank approached them, to take a tour, though it was suspended because of the second phase of the lockdown, but it will again resume. But he told me that, sir, a lot of corporates are also coming to us that in batch of 30 people, please organize such camps for us. So, this is the need of time. The idea is how you are going to do it, how you're going to lease the land over there. Are you going to connect to some hostels or hotels already established, or you are going to create your own? But if you can link your different stakeholders of tourism, and if you can provide something like that, it is working in the industry. It has already started. So people who are realizing it are doing wonders right now.
Thanks, sir, for solving the query. So can we put up the next question?
Please. That's
Yeah. So as we all know that this is a COVID time and there are many business and industries which are highly affected. So what can we develop a immersive experience for the tourists post COVID situation?
See, when we talk about immersive experiences, we are talking about experiences that are, related to your emotions, that are deeply tapped in your emotions. Uh, I talked about the despair, the miseries of COVID, we all know about. It will not be easy for people to sit at home and, come out of their grief. I'll just simply take an example, a very simple, basic example to make this question easy, to make this answer easy of mine. The moment you fight at your home, bachpan se abhi tak, whenever you had a fight in your home, the next thing you do is pick up the key of your bike, move out of your home, and then you have a ride on your roads. Don't you do like that? Yes, you do like that. Why? Because then you want to get out of that place which is creating negative vibes to you. So you just want to change the air, change the feel, and once you come back to your home, your temperament lows, your anger gets low, and you feel a little calm inside. Similarly, the post-COVID scenario is going to be what I believe people will be looking for spiritual experiences. People will be looking for nature-based travel. People will be looking for social travel where they can connect to people, where they can chat with their friends. I will also say the trend would be a lot of youngsters will be grouping and traveling. A lot of elderly people, even the family travel will also come back in tourism industry. Pilgrimage, yes, again it will start. So everything is going to start, but this time the experiences should be deep inside you. They should affect your consciousness, and that is why transformation is important over here. Yes, Abhishek.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Another question coming up is
Sorry to interrupt you, Abhishek. Rohanji, I hope don't mind you take such kind of questions.
Yeah, please.
Okay, please, Abhishek, carry on.
yeah. So the next question is something related to the leadership and managerial skills. So as a tourism professionals, what kind of skills do we focus for getting better transformational leadership skills?
All right. So we have connected this to the transformation leadership style. Uh, Tourism for me is close to my heart. I always say this because I have not seen it in a limited box. I have always seen as a very vibrant, dynamic industry which has a lot of scope. You name a word and you place the word tourism behind it, you will have a form of tourism. Look at the vibrancy of this industry. Even if you say uh, toilet and you put tourism, you have toilet tourism, it is there. Just search it out. It is there. You have a toilet museum in New Delhi. So look at it. Look at the vibrancy of this industry. Uh, Tourism professional can, yes, they can be good leaders. It's not like they are inferior to the core management students. They are almost at par. The only thing which we require right now is to broaden our horizon. As I said earlier as well, you need to scan the environment, and then comes your opportunities. Without scanning, what a teacher tells you, what an instructor tells you is not the limited knowledge. Observe, judge, look in your environment, what is happening, what people are talking about, read. There are so many reports coming from WHO and UNWTO. I do not know how many of you are aware about these reports. Listen to the big leaders. They are making some very good comments. Pope has made comment. The United Nations General Secretary has made a comment on tourism. So look at it. They are giving you some clues. It's just you need to grab it. The moment you grab it, the moment you use it, I am not at all doubtful you being a transformative leader, because you are the one who scanned the environment, you are the one who grabbed the opportunity, you are the one who accepted the challenge, and you created something for your customers, you created something meaningful for your society. That is what is the skill of transformative leader is, and that is how you will be transformative leader.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for solving our query. And now for the further proceedings, I would like to hand over this session to Dipanshu.
Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. So thank you, sir, for answering all of our queries, and I'm pretty sure this will help us to have a more clear picture of the topic and having a clear picture about transformational tourism, and we'll be able to apply it in a more effective way. So yeah, for the vote of thanks, now I would like to invite Assistant Professor Vivek Srivastava to present vote of thanks.
Okay. Thank you,
Excuse me, sir.
Deepanshu.
Sorry to
Am I
interrupt you,
audible?
sir.
Yes, yes, please, please.
Sir, please can you stop your sharing so that I can share my
Yes,
screen to
please.
you?
Just a second.
Yes, thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it was a wonderful session, sir. A very heartily good afternoon to all. I, Vivek Srivastava, Assistant Professor PIMG, feel extremely privileged and delighted to propose a vote of thanks. I would like to extend a very special thanks to Mr. Rohan Ballard, sir, for conducting this session. It was an extremely informative session. Thanks once again for providing such insightful information about the travel industry to our students. I would like to thank Dr. Nishant Joshi, sir, Director, PIMG Gwalior, and Dr. Navita Nathani, ma'am, Deputy Director, Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, for allowing us and motivating us to conduct this session. Next, I would like to thank Dr. RPS Kaurav, Program Chair, and the entire Tourism Department, and the student coordinator as well for helping and arranging this session. Once again, thank you for attending it. Hope you stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you, sir.
Rohan
Thank
sir.
you.
This is
Thank you.
really a nice session. I hope this has opened a new door of opportunities to all of the students or all of the attendees. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, Rohan.
Thank you, Navita. Thank you, everybody, all my teachers in Prestige. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
this
much.
wonderful. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you so much, everyone.